So, let's take a look at that. In his work, The Triads, he says this, and I quote, "There are, however, energies of God, which refer to his activities or actions, generally speaking, which have a beginning and an end, as all saints will confirm." So he's claiming ijma, essentially, that all saints will confirm that, look, there's energies of God that have a beginning and some that have an end. Our opponent, so he's quoting his opponent, whoever it is, thinks that everything which has a beginning is created. This is why he has stated that only one reality is unoriginate, the essence of God, adding that, quote, "What is not this essence derives from a created nature." But even if this man considers that everything that has a beginning is created, we, for our part, know that while all the energies of God are uncreated, not all are without beginning. And interestingly enough, from my understanding, this position is actually quite similar to Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah, without getting into too much detail, but for people to just consider and possibly take a look at it. In this, anyway, it seems to be quite similar. That not all of God's actions have a beginning, but they're all uncreated, or not created. So, and then he goes on further to say, indeed, beginning and end must be ascribed, if not to the creative power itself, then at least to its activity. That is to say, to its energy as directed towards created things. Meaning because created things had a beginning, God's power or his activity towards created things must have had a beginning. How could it be eternal if the created thing doesn't exist? How could he be directed at something that doesn't exist yet? Then he quotes Moses as a proof. He says, Moses showed this when he said, quote, "God rested from all the works which he had begun to do." So his works had a beginning. How then would the super essential one not be different from its proper energy? In other words, how could his energy, which had a beginning, be identical to his essence, which did not have a beginning? But he asks, are the unoriginate energies identical with the super essential one? There are among them some which have an end, but not a beginning, as Basil the Great has said concerning the essentially God's omniscience, or his him knowing the future. The super essential essence of God is thus not to be identified with the energies, even those without beginning. So God's essence is not to be identified with his energies, even the ones that are eternal and without beginning. From which it follows that it is not only transcendent to any energy whatsoever, but that it transcends them to an infinite degree and an infinite amount of times, as the divine Maximus says, or Saint Maximus the Confessor.